Let me tell you something most people never stop to realize: time is not the real challenge in life. The challenge is priority. Because you and we both get the same 24 hours in a day as every billionaire, every world-class athlete, every successful entrepreneur you admire. They don't get a bonus hour. They don't get 25 hours. The only difference is how they prioritize those hours. That's where a whole game of success is played. See, a lot of folks are busy. They're running around all day long, answering emails, scrolling their phone, putting out fires. At the end of the day, wonder why they feel exhausted but have nothing to show for it. You know why? Because being busy and being effective are two completely different things. Busy people fill their schedule. Successful people filter their schedule. That's a hard truth most of us don't want to face, because it's easier to keep ourselves occupied with little tasks. It feels good to check off a to-do list. But here's the trap. Not everything on your to-do list matters. In fact, most of it doesn't. Weakest? And if you spend your life, give your best energy to things that don't move you forward, don't be surprised when 10 years pass and you're standing in the same place you were yesterday. I learned something a while back that changed the way I think about time forever. It's called the 80-20 principle. It means that about 20% you send of what you do is responsible for 80% of the results in your life. Think about that. That means most of the things you're doing aren't moving the needle at all. You can spend your entire day chasing emails, answering calls, doing errands, trying to please people who don't even matter to your future. And none of it will build your dream. But the small handful of actions that really count, those are the things you need to give your best energy to. Let me make it plain. If your goal is to start a business, scrolling Instagram for motivation is not the priority. Booting your product, reaching out to customers, learning how to sell, those are the priorities. If your goal is to get in shape, then buying workout clothes is not the priority. Actually exercising, eating right, showing up consistently, those are the priorities. But here's the problem. Most people get stuck working on what's easy instead of what's essential. They confuse motion with progress, and then they wonder why life feels like a treadmill instead of a journey. The truth is, you have to be ruthless about your time if you want to win. You have to wake up and ask yourself, what are the 2 or 3 things I could do today that would really matter? What's the one thing I could do that, if I accomplished it, would make everything else easier or even unnecessary? And once you know what those things are, you lock in on them like your future depends on it, because it does. Now, let me go a little deeper here. Prioritizing isn't just about what you say yes to. It's about what you say no to. A lot of people never build the life they want because they don't know how to say no. They say yes to every invitation, every request for their time. But every yes to something unimportant is a no to something that could have changed your life. You've got to learn to protect it. The way you'd protect your money. You don't hand a stranger your wallet, so why hand them your hours? Think about it. Time is more valuable than money. You can lose money and make it back. But when you lose time, it's gone forever. Every minute you give away, every hour you waste, every day you let slip through your fingers, you don't get that back. If you keep living like you've got unlimited time, one day you'll look up and realize the clock ran out while you were busy playing small. Let me challenge you with something. Take a good hard look at your life and your habits. Look at where your time actually goes, not where you say it goes, but where it really goes. Write it down for a week. You'll be shocked. Hours disappear into television, social media, gossip, distractions. And here's the kicker. Those are hours you could have invested building your dream, strengthening your relationships, taking care of your health. Here's the real secret of priorities. You don't find time for what matters. You make time for what matters. Nobody is sitting around with hours waiting for a dream to fit in. No, the people who succeed, they carve it out, they decide what matters most, they build their schedule around it. They don't wait for convenience, because convenience never comes. I'll give you a picture to hold on to. Your time is like a jar, and every day you've only got so much space in that jar. The big rocks are your true priorities. Your goals, your health, your relationships, your purpose. The little pebbles are the smaller tasks, and the sand is all the distractions. If you put the sand in first, you'll never fit the rocks. But if you put the big rocks in first, somehow the pebbles and the sand find their place around them. That's how life works. Prioritize the big rocks and the rest will sort itself out. So let me ask you, what are your rocks? What are the things that matter most? The things that will define your future? Because until you get clear on that, you'll keep wasting time on things that don't matter. I know this might sound intense, but it's supposed to. Because the truth is, life is short. You don't have the luxury of treating your time casually. You've got to start living like every hour counts, because it does. You've got to stop letting small things steal your focus from the big picture. And you've got to discipline yourself to give your best energy to the things that bring you closer to your vision. At the end of the day, success isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters. It's about knowing that every yes you give is shaping your destiny. And it's about realizing that the difference between a busy life and a successful life is simply this: priorities. So my message to you is simple: master the power of priorities, and you master your future. Because if you don't run your day with intention, your day will run you. And if you don't decide what matters, somebody else will. And I don't know about you, but I'd rather live a life designed by purpose than a life wasted by default. Success isn't waiting for you at the end of a busy schedule. It's waiting for you at the end of a prioritized one. So decide today what truly matters and give it everything you've got. Now, once you understand the power of priorities, the next step is learning how to protect your time like it's treasure. Because let me tell you something, and I need you to hear this clearly: your time is treasure. It's the most valuable currency you will ever own. More valuable than money, more valuable than gold, more valuable than any material possession you could ever buy. See, money. You can lose it and get it back. You can go broke today and be a millionaire tomorrow. But time doesn't work like that. Every second that ticks away, it's gone. Every minute that slips by, you don't get a refund. Every day that passes, you can't reorder it like an Amazon package. Once it's gone, it's gone. And yet, here's the tragedy. Most people protect their money tighter than they protect their time. They'll argue over the $20 bill down, but they'll hand over 3 hours of their life to Netflix without a fight. They'll stress about saving a few dollars, but they'll waste their mornings scrolling through somebody else's life on social media. They guard their bank account, but leave the doors wide open on their calendar. But let me remind you, your calendar is your life. The way you spend your time is the way you're spending your one shot at existence. You don't get 2 lives. You don't get to press restart. This is it. And if you don't start protecting your time with the same seriousness you protect your money weakest, you'll spend your years rich in distractions, but bankrupt in destiny. Now, here's the psychology behind it. Distractions aren't just accidents, they're traps. Your brain is wired to chase what feels good in the short term, even if it costs you in the long run. That's why you keep reaching for the phone, why you say yes to things, why you say yes to things you don't really want to do, why you let other people's priorities pull you off your path. Because it's easier in the moment. It feels safe. It feels polite. It feels comfortable. But the truth is, every distraction has a price tag. Every time you give your focus away, you're paying with your future. The problem is, you don't see the cost right away. It's like a slow leak. You don't notice it at first, but over time it drains everything you've built. That's why successful people treat their time differently. They're not rude, but they're firm. They don't let just anybody schedule their life. They say no, not because they're selfish, but because they're serious. They know that every yes to a distraction is a no to their destiny. And they value their destiny too much to give it away cheap. So, let me make it practical for you. You've got to start setting boundaries. That means turning off unnecessary notifications. That means blocking out time for deep, focused work and treating it like an unbreakable appointment. That means being willing to let people down temporarily so you don't let yourself down permanently. Is usually the weakest. Some of you are burning out because you're trying to please everybody else with your time. And you've got nothing left for your own goals. But let me tell you, you can't pour from an empty cup. You can't give the world your best if you never protect the time to build your best. Sometimes, loving thing you can do for people around you is to protect your time so you can show up as the best version of yourself. And let me address another trap: multitasking. We think we're saving time by doing 5 things, we's at once: answering emails, checking our phones, watching TV, pretending to work. But science proves the opposite. Multitasking destroys focus. When you destroy focus, you double the time it takes to finish anything. You don't need to do more things at once. You need to do one thing with full focus. That's how you protect the quality of your time. Now, I know some of you are thinking, but I don't want to miss out. What if I say no to the wrong thing? What if I disappoint somebody? Let me free you right now. You are already missing out. Silly the weakest. Every day you say yes to something meaningless, you're missing out on something meaningful. Every time you trade your focus for entertainment, you're missing out on building your future. Usually the weakest. Every time you take other people's feelings at the expense of your own vision, you're missing out on your destiny. Protecting your time doesn't mean you live selfishly. It means you live intentionally. It means you stop letting the world write your story and you pick up the pen yourself. And let me tell you this: protecting your time requires courage. It requires the courage to be misunderstood, because people will not always understand why you're unavailable. They won't always get why you don't go out every night, why you don't binge, watch the latest show, why you don't answer every call immediately. But you're not living to be understood. You're living to be fulfilled. And if protecting your time looks strange to them, let it be strange, because the day will come when the results of your discipline speak louder than the noise of their distractions. So here's what I want you to take with you. Your time is your life. Treat it like treasure. Don't hand it away carelessly. Don't sell it cheap. Don't spend it trying to prove yourself to people who aren't even invested in your future. Guard it, protect it, and invest it wisely. Because when you protect your time, you're not just protecting minutes on a clock. You're protecting your future, your dreams, your purpose, your peace. Peace. You don't get to choose how much time you get in this life, but you do get to choose how you spend it, and that choice will determine everything. Protect your time like treasure, because that's exactly what it is. The currency of your destiny. Waste it, and you waste yourself. Guard it, and you give yourself a future worth living. We've talked about mastering priorities. Weakest. We've talked about protecting your time like it's treasure. Now let me tell you the final piece that ties it all together. You've got to invest your time in growth and balance. Because here's the truth. Time by itself doesn't guarantee success. You can have 24 hours a day. You can prioritize. You can protect it. But if you don't invest it in the right things, it's like hiding treasure under your bed. It's safe, but it doesn't grow. Success isn't just about managing your time. It's about multiplying your time. And the only way you multiply your time is by investing it into growth. Growth, what turns ordinary hours into extraordinary results. It's the difference between staying the same and becoming more tomorrow than you are today. And I'll tell you something, the most successful people, didn't just stumble into success. They didn't just luck up into the right opportunity. No, they invested countless hours into growing their mindset, their skills, their character. Every book they read, every mentor they listen to, every mistake they learned from, it all added up. Growth compounds, just like money. It's like money grows in a savings account with interest. Knowledge and discipline grow with time when you keep investing. So ask yourself this: where are you putting your hours? Are you feeding your mind, sharpening your skills, building your character? Are you just entertaining yourself, killing time, and wondering why nothing changes? Here's the psychology of it. Your brain is like a garden. Whatever seeds you plant, there will grow. If you plant seeds of negativity, doubt, gossip, fear, laziness, you'll harvest that. If you plant seeds of growth, learning, faith, discipline, that's what will grow. The harvest is always in proportion to the seed you plant and the care you give it. So, when you spend time reading, studying, training, building yourself, you're planting seeds for a future you can be proud of. But let me pause here because I need you to catch this. Growth without balance is just another form of self-destruction. You can be so consumed with building that you forget living. Doing it. You can chase success so hard you destroy your health. You can work day and night and end up lonely because you never nurtured your relationships. What good is achieving your dream if you don't have the health, the peace, or the people to enjoy it with? That's why I said growth and balance go hand in hand. You can't neglect one and expect to thrive. Growth makes you stronger, sharper, wiser. Balance makes you grounded, healthy, and whole. And without both, success is fragile. I've seen people with all the money in the world, but no peace. I've seen people with incredible careers, but broken families. I've seen people chase their goals so hard they burn themselves out and lose everything they worked for. That's not real success. Real success is when you can stand tall in every part of your life. When you've got purpose in your work, health in your body, peace in your mind, and love in your relationships. That's the kind of success you want to invest your time building. So, what does that look like in practice? It means every day you carve out time to grow. Read, listen, learn. Surround yourself with people who push you higher. Take care of your body. Get your sleep. Eat food that fuels you. Move your body so you have energy to fight for your dream. And invest in your relationships. Spend time with your family, your friends, your partner, because those connections are the foundation of your joy. Don't let the world fool you into thinking you've got to sacrifice one for the other. You don't have to choose between success and health. You don't have to choose between work and family. The key is balance. It doesn't mean everything gets equal time, but it does mean everything gets its rightful time. And here's the deeper philosophy behind this. Balance is what keeps you from losing yourself on the journey. Because success is not just about reaching the top, it's about staying there without falling apart. Growth gets you there, balance keeps you there, and together they give you a life that's not just successful, but meaningful. I want you to picture your life like a table. Growth is the surface. It's where you put all the achievements, the goals, the rewards, but balance. Balance is the legs. Without balance, that table can't stand. No matter how polished the surface looks, and some of you are trying to stack success on a shaky table because you haven't built balance into your life. That's why things keep collapsing. That's why you keep burning out. That's why you keep losing momentum. Because growth without balance is unstable. Let me put it another way. What's the point of climbing the mountain if, when you get to the top, you're too weak to enjoy the view? What's the point of building the house if, once it's built, you're too tired or too lonely to live in it? That's why balance is not optional. It's essential. So the call today is this: grow yourself. Yes, but grow yourself in a way that's sustainable. Invest your time not just in chasing success, but in building strength to hold it. Not just in chasing dreams, but in cultivating the peace and the health to enjoy them. And the beautiful thing is this: once you get this rhythm of growth and balance, life feels different. Spite. You stop feeling like you're constantly fighting the clock. You stop feeling like success is this exhausting chase. Instead, every day becomes an opportunity to grow a little more, to strengthen a little more, to love a little more. And that's when success stops being a finish line you're chasing and starts being a lifestyle you're living. So here's the bottom line. You've got one life. You've got a limited amount of time. If you want that time to mean something, you've got to invest it, not just in what builds your bank account, in what builds you, because you are your greatest asset. And when you grow yourself and you balance yourself, you make sure that success doesn't just look good on the outside, it feels good on the inside. You, the weakest, don't just spend your time chasing success. Invest it in growth and balance, so when success arrives, you're strong enough, healthy enough, and whole enough to enjoy it. Let me ask you a question. If I gave you 4 gold coins every morning, I told you that at midnight, they disappear forever, how carefully would you spend them? You'd make every one count, wouldn't you? You'd invest them in something that matters. You'd make sure not a single one was wasted. Well, that's exactly how your time works. Every morning, life gives you 24 hours. At midnight, they're gone. No refunds, no replays. And how you spend those hours determines whether you build the life you dream about, or whether you look back one day wondering where all that time went. The first truth you've got to embrace is priorities. Most people don't fail in life because they lack time. They fail because they misuse it. They're busy, but they're not effective. They're moving, but they're not moving forward. And the trap of business is that it feels like progress. Checking off little boxes makes you feel accomplished. Those boxes don't move you closer to your purpose. They're just distractions in disguise. So you've got to filter your life by priorities. Ask yourself, if I only had 2 hours today, what would I do that truly matters? That one question can change the way you live, because the truth is, not everything deserves your attention. Not everything is urgent. Not everything is essential. And if you don't decide what matters most, the world will keep throwing its priorities at you until your life is nothing but reaction. A reaction instead of intention. But once you know your priorities, once you've identified those 2 or 3 things that really matter, the battle isn't over. Because knowing your priorities doesn't help unless you protect them. That's the second truth. You've got to guard your time like treasure. I'm telling you, it is treasure. Time is more valuable than money, more valuable than gold, more valuable than anything you can put in a safe. Because you can always get more money, but you can never get more time. Yet look at the way people treat it. They'll fight tooth and nail to save a few dollars, but they'll give away hours of their life without a second thought. They'll complain about losing money, but they'll waste entire weekends on distractions that don't add 1 ounce of value to their future. We're protecting the wrong thing. And that's why so many people end up broke in life. Not just financially, but spiritually, emotionally, and purposefully. They don't realize they've been spending the most valuable resource they had on things that don't matter. If you want to succeed, you've got to say no. You've got to turn off the noise. You've got to stop letting other people schedule your destiny. Because every yes to a meaningless distraction is no to your future. Protect your mornings. Protect your focus. Protect the hours when your energy is highest. Treat them like sacred ground, because they are. And don't apologize for it. People may not understand. They may think you're selfish, but one day they'll see the results of your discipline. One day they'll respect the boundaries you refuse to compromise. And here's where it all ties together. Once you've prioritized, once you've protected, you've got to invest. Because time that just sits still doesn't grow. You've got to put it into something that multiplies. That means growth. That means balance. See, success isn't just about climbing the ladder. It's about becoming the kind of person who can handle the view from the top. And that requires growth. Every hour you spend learning, reading, practicing, building, that's an investment in yourself. And you are your greatest asset. A car depreciates. A house can crumble. But the skills, the wisdom, the strength you build inside yourself, that's yours forever. That's what makes every other dream possible. But growth by itself isn't enough. Because you can grind, you can hustle, you can sacrifice every hour to chasing goals and still end up empty if you forget balance. What good is money if you're too sick to spend it? What good is success if your family doesn't recognize you? What good is standing on the stage if you've got no peace in your own mind? Balance is what keeps you from losing yourself on the way up. That means taking care of your body, because without health, you can't fight for your dream. That means nurturing relationships, because love and connection are what gives success meaning. That means resting, because sometimes the most productive thing you can do is recharge so you can come back stronger. Myers. Balance doesn't slow you down. It sustains you for the long run. So when you bring these three truths together, priorities, protection, and investment, you start living differently. You stop wasting hours on things that don't matter. You stop letting distractions steal your destiny. You stop living like you've got all the time in the world, and you start living like every moment is sacred. And when you do that consistently, life changes. You find yourself further in 1 year than most people go in 10 because you stopped scattering your time and started using it with precision. At the end of the day, life will be measured not by how busy you were, not by how much you did, but by what you built with the time you were given. And you get to decide right now whether that time becomes a story of wasted potential or a story of fulfilled purpose. Your time is your life. Prioritize it, protect it, and invest it. Because success isn't about having more hours. It's about using the hours. You have to build a future you can be proud of.